Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. Hi friends, welcome to Sharp Ends. Today I'm going to do a collection review for you. It's been about 6 months, and every 6 months I've been updating this. I've only been collecting knives for about 2 years. So this is kind of my 2-year update of what I have in my collection right now. And I figured that I would do this right now because I think I'm going to probably sell several of my knives, and I always like to go ahead and do an update right before I sell knives anyway. So here we go. So first off, I have this Riot XO, which is a gravity knife OTF, and probably one of the gems of my collection. I really like this knife a lot. Next for you, I have the Skaha from North Arms. Very cool flipper knife. Very fun to play with. And great action and sound. Magna Cut. Awesome. Next, I have, let's talk about my Three Rivers manufacturing knives. First off, I have the Neutron 2 with Amplify scales, Koi Amplify scales. It's a great knife. Very, very sharp and very thin behind the edge. 20 CV. And then I have a little version from TRM, which is called the Holy Nerd, and it's wearing a fancy set of titanium scales, which is milled really well, and it's just a great knife. And then the TRM also has the big brother version of that, which is called the Shadow. So I have the Shadow, which is the big version of this, and it's got a bar lock on it, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to run out of space real fast, so I think I'm going to go to widescreen here. All right, so next I have in the Three Rivers world, where is my Atom? So next I have the Atom, also wearing fancy titanium scales, 20 CV, very sharp, very thin behind the edge. Just a great dress knife, great clip, very nice knife. So those are my TRMs, Three Rivers manufacturing knives. Next, what do we have? So I've got a couple of ProTechs. I love ProTech. I wish I had more of them, but I don't. This is the SBR with Ultim scales, automatic side opening, designed by Les George. Great knife, great action. I love it. Next from ProTech, I have the TR3, which I got customized with Way of Knife guys. Magna Cut. Great action, opens really well. This was all black aluminum handles, but they highlighted some of the fish scales on here. They sandblasted the clip, and they did some laser etching on the blade. Fortunately, here in the state that I live in Pennsylvania, they just actually legalized carrying automatics, which is great. Next from ProTech, I have the Malibu, which was something that I had always wanted, and I hunted this knife for a really long time, and I happened to be on vacation in Europe, and a notice came up on, I think it was from Blade HQ that I got this from. A notice came up for it that it was open, and I bought it, and when I got home from my long airplane trip, there it was waiting for me finally, and it was worth the wait. This is definitely a great knife. Everything you've ever heard about the Malibu is true. It is a phenomenal button lock, great action, great sound. Lockup is perfect. I like the reverse tanto. I like that it's all blacked out. That's all I have from ProTech. Wish I had more, but I don't. The first expensive knife, quote unquote, that I ever got was probably this knife, which is a bug out, and it's the only Benchmade I have left, and I really only keep it for sentimental reasons. It has nice titanium scales, which really upgraded the experience on this knife. The plastic scales that it came with were really bendy, it was cool to have as a first-time knife, very flickable, open, and stuff like that. And about a little over 2 years ago, this was the first knife I ever spent more than $100 on, and it was worth it. And it really got me into the game. So I like it for that reason. That being said, besides sentimental value of this knife, I don't really carry it much. It is what it is, and it's fine. But every single category of this knife is done better on a different knife. So there you go. Also, I think overpriced, but that's just me. Next, I have this guy here, this pocket clip. This is the Bear, B-A-X-E-R, from Tactile Knife Company. I actually carry it a lot. And it has a lanyard. It's also a lockback. It's one of the only lockbacks that I have. Very nice milled titanium handles. Slips in the pocket, so there's no clip showing. When you go to New York City, you can't have a clip showing. You can't have a knife showing at all. So I actually, when I go to New York City to see a player or go to a musical or go to a conference, this is the knife I carry. It's nice and short, works really well. The lockback, it's non-aggressive, and it's something that I can carry legally in New York City. So I also carry it in my pocket all the time, just because if I'm dressing up and I don't want to be showing that I have a knife, but I still have a knife, this is what I'm carrying. It's really nice, thin behind the edge. Also Magna Cut, just great all around. Love this knife so much. Next, what are we going to talk about? I guess we might as well get Spyderco out of the way. So Spyderco was, before I got my Benchmade, Spyderco was what I really wanted to get into, and I did for a long time. I've got this Indela, which is probably the perfect size, great work knife. Honestly, it's dirty because I use it. Don't honestly use it enough. I've got a cheap knockoff Chinese deep clip 20 CV version here, and I got these scales off of Etsy, and they feel really nice. So there's that. I do still like the Indela, and then I've got the or is that the Endura? That's the Endura. This is the Indela, which is longer and big, and I've got the Spyder scales on it. And I've actually kept the original Spyder clip on it because it kind of goes with this knife being so big and everything. I like to use this in the backyard a lot. You'll see that the Spyder here is in the middle of its web. The Ergos on this are great. Cuts forever. This is also 20 CV. Spyderco is really good with their heat treats. This came sharp. I don't even know if I've even sharpened this yet. I've just stropped it and it's still sharp as hell. That's great. And then this was a project knife that I kind of built up. If you go to customization part 2, I believe the name of the video is, you can see how I put this knife together. It's 90V, and DLT had a deal on it. I think when they first dropped these, they were like $130 or something like that. I got the Flytanium brass scales. It's got black hardware already. I put the compression made easy on it, deep carry clip from Lynchpin, yeah. Anyway, gosh, drop shuts, great knife, absolutely. And this is a paramilitary too. Sorry if I didn't say that. So you know, this is your standard paramilitary too, and it's just a freaking nice knife with these scales and everything. I just super enjoy it. Also from Spyderco, I have the Spidey Chef. Everyone who collects Spydercos probably has a Spidey Chef, right? This is a great one. I love the fact that you know, it's LC200N, so Magna Cut I believe has kind of replaced that, and honestly I think I like Vanex steel better than LC200N. But that being said, the geometry of this blade, the way that it looks, the way that it cuts, and overall the way that it acts, is just a great camping knife. Wire clip, there's no problem with that. Yeah, just a great knife. Finally, I've bought and sold tons of Spyderco knives, I've got to say, and this is what I have right now, and I'm probably going to stick with this for a while. Not finally. This is second. I got 2 more. All right, so this Spyderco knife, this is the Manix 2 S30V. This was one of my first project knives where I played around with anodizing everything on this. I anodized myself with heat treat, including the lock cage, and I replaced the spring in here and the bearings, and I replaced the access lock or the bar lock mechanism here. It's a little heavy, I gotta tell you. This is a really heavy knife, but sometimes you want a big heavy knife when you're cutting up a lot of cardboard, and this is definitely it. It's S30V, which I wish I had a better blade steel. I feel like S30V has kind of gone out the window at this point as far as being top notch, but then again, you can't knock it. And it's a fun knife. Final Spyderco, I believe, is this Shaman, which I got didn't need it, but man, the Ergos are great. I wanted to get a Shaman. This is 204p, which is the same thing as 390 or 20 CV. Ergos are great. I put a Lynch clip on it, deep carry, and I put the compression made easy on it. Also very good. Fun knife. Really good. I don't think I need any more Spydercos, although I know that there's a lot of people out there who exclusively only get Spydercos. And that's fine. They're great. I mean, they're awesome. Next, I have this Nimble from Everyman's Carry EDC. Forgetting the name, but very cool knife. You can open it 6 different ways. I'm not very good at front flipping, but it has a lot of different ways to open it, and it's just a beautiful knife. Got the topo on here. It's fun to play with. The clip on here is great. It's got this awesome symbol. See if I can get it. I probably can't get it focused in wide mode here, but it's, you know, a great little atom symbol here. Next I have this Luna by Real Steel. This is the Knife Nuts podcast exclusive. My other lock back. The clip is really wiry and pretty springy, but you know, for what it is, it's great. I've never dyed the scales on this, but the idea was that you could get this and then take it and dye it yourself. I haven't done that, but this is a great knife. Super, super sharp. It's just D2, but it's a great little knife, very cheap, and this is something you could give to someone and be like, here, take this knife, and they would be good for the, you know, rest of their lives if they weren't a real knife person. So it's a great option. Put that right here next to my other lock back. Next, I've got my Rat 2. This is my R2D2, DLC coated. So the Ontario Rat, obviously with fancy scales from Way of Knife. It's got the paisley print. I really like it. It's my dress-up knife for my really cheap knife, and you know, it's just a cool little knife. Looks a lot fancier than it actually is. It's super cheap. I also have my Automat Kalashnikov. Its action isn't as impressive as the action or the snappiness of the ProTechs, but it's still great. It's a very cheap knife. I kind of wanted to get one when I was just starting out, just to try it. This was the very first automatic I ever had, and at the time, automatics were illegal, so I was like, you know, I'm just going to get a cheap one and see what they're like. And yeah, this is a cool knife. So just now realizing, of course, these aren't all my knives. I'm realizing that I'm missing a couple, but that's okay. I've got this Banter. This isn't the baby version. This is the big version, but it is 20 CV. This is the Wii initiative. That's all I want to say about that. I don't know. I would probably give this knife away at some point. This is the baby Banter, and it's got the moon scales on it, and the kitten. I really like that. This is one of those ones. I've got an Ultim. I've taken the clip off of this. I keep it as a fifth pocket carry sometimes. So it's got an Ultim bead on it. Very great Ergos. I like, this is just, you know, a little bit customized. It's a super simple knife, but because I've customized it and I got the Nitro V version, you know, it's definitely usable, and it's a nice little carry. What else do I have in here? So of course I've got an Opinel, and this is actually one that doesn't have a tip on it, and it's the knife that I give to little kids who want to learn how to use a knife, but I don't want them to hurt themselves too much, so sometimes I give them this knife. Really sharp spine. Bet it would be good with a ferro rod. And then I have the Urban Buoy 154 cm, and it's got like the Thor hammer handles on it. It's very small little knife, fifth pocket carry. I like it. The action is great. It looks great. It works well. Next, I have this, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name. It's M39. It's a Kaiser knife, and it's a cormorant. That's what it is. Opens very well. I actually have got my worst wound ever with this knife. I dropped it while I was playing with it on the couch, and it cut the heel of my foot, really badly, and it was late at night. I didn't go to the doctor. I should have gotten stitches. Instead, it took like a month to heal. So this knife is covered in my blood. Yeah, so it's a button lock, very fun to play with. Again, multiple ways of opening. Titanium handle version. And then I have the Slayback MBK. This is ZDP, and it's made with two different kinds of steel, and it's super, super sharp. It will stay sharp forever. It's got like this little line right here. That's the shell, and then in here you've got the steel that will last forever. It's a great knife. I've reviewed this. Check it out. Milled clip. Flicks open very nicely. It's got the iconic Ray Laconico design elements to it. I love this knife. That's the Slayback. And then I have my Demcos. So I have the Demco 20.5s, and I actually have 3 of them. I know, I'm crazy. But I really like this knife, and I probably bought 6 or 7 of these. I've given them away to some friends. This is the D2 version, which I put some fancy linen micarta scales on and a lynch clip. It's a great work knife. It's only D2, but easy to sharpen and a great work knife. It looks nice. I can carry it around and it's fine. And then I've got some upgraded versions of this. Where am I going to put this where it can stay in screen? Maybe I'll just put it right here. I have the titanium version, the flat titanium version, which I believe is in 3V. And I got Way of Knife to update it to customize it with the alien head from the movie Mars Attacks. Ack, 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 ack. And then they also put the Mars Attacks logo on the blade itself. And then they also did the McNasty finish on the clip, which is really cool. So this is a fun knife to carry around Halloween time or something like that. It's just a fun knife. Also, just I love the 20.5. I've done video about why I like it so much. And I've talked about my customization part 1 about what Way of Knife EDC Gearhouse does with their knives and their packages. But yeah, that's fun. And then I have the 80-20.5 with textured titanium scales. I haven't got it customized. It's got the shark's foot on it. I really like the way this handles. I really like the shark lock. This is just a great knife. Again, another deep carry clip from Lynch. Just a great, great knife. I really like that knife. And then another one of my favorite knives here. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. Waypoint? Yeah. Vanex, hollow ground, super sharp, super easy to use. When I'm wearing a life vest and I'm on a boat, which happens a lot in the summer, this is the knife that I'm carrying 99.9% of the time. Great wire clip, super sharp, doesn't rust at all. I take it in salt water for weeks at a time and then come home and clean it up. I've been in the field before, and the only thing that's happened is that the lockup gets a little, it doesn't lock up after a while because if it gets too sandy, because I'm camping on the beach. So I just take it and I rinse it out with fresh water, and then it's fine. And then once I eventually get home, I clean it up and it's good to go. Vanex is a great steel. I really, really like Vanex. Magnakite might be a little bit better, but honestly, I can't tell the difference between them. Yeah, I love this knife so much. I also have a couple other knives. I obviously have several, well, I probably have 3 or 4 different versions of the Swiss Army knife. It's good to have one of these and travel with one of these because, you know, it's got the wine opener and it's got a couple of tools in there. You don't mind prying things open. It's got the tweezers and the toothpick, and, you know, it's practical to keep one of these in your backpack. So I usually do. Oh, can't forget this guy. This is the Nick Shabazz Blade HQ exclusive Swiss Army knife. So, you know, I got one because why not? I like Nick Shabazz. He really got me into figuring out about knives and stuff like that, and he taught me a lot. So I saw this one, I got it. It was super cheap, fun little knife. And I think that's it. So that is my updated knife collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of my collection, and don't be too harsh. Like I said, this is basically, I just finished my second year of really getting into knives, and this is what I have right now. So you can go back and look at my older collection videos and see where I've come from and see what I have now and what's stayed and what's gone. And in another 6 months, I'll probably post another video because I plan on selling several of these knives. And I also have several knives that are out there, on order, back order and stuff like that will come in. So the collection is always changing. I think the number of knives that I have right now is about where I want to stay. So in order to buy new knives, I kind of want to sell some that I'm just not carrying. And that sometimes is like picking a child that you don't, you don't want to get rid of, but you have to. Some of these knives I'm not going to get rid of. Like this knife right here, this Kalashnikov, I couldn't sell it, really. I mean, I could sell it for maybe $20 or something like that, but it would be stupid to sell it just for $20 rather than keeping it. Whereas there's other knives like this TRM Shadow. Right now, it's really hard to get one of these, and I can sell it easily for more than what I bought it for. And honestly, it's a great knife, but it's not a knife for me, I don't think. So I'm probably going to go ahead and sell this, even though as a lover of Three Rivers manufacturing, I kind of like having it just to be a completionist. I think I would rather sell this and buy something that's going to fit me more and that I'm going to carry more than keep this around just to complete a collection. So, it's those kind of decisions I have to make. Maybe you have to make too. Let me know how you judge about what you're going to keep and what you're going to get rid of. I'd be curious in the comments to know what you think. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, I'd really appreciate you telling someone. If you didn't like what you saw, I really appreciate you telling one of your enemies. But whatever you do, please tell someone. And I will see you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.